have some old bits of brass that have got some paint on them. I want to remove the paint. I don't want to have to buy any paint stripper, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little bit of a fire. I've got some paperwork to burn, some old receipts anyway, so it'll be a two birds with one stone. I don't think it'll damage the brass too much, but we'll see if it works. So, a little bit of paper, wood underneath, then the brass, and a bit more wood on top. We'll set it on fire and we'll see what happens. There we go, set on fire. We'll see what happens when it's all died down. It has died down. Let's see what we have in here. Is the paint really... Right, it's come off, that's fine. Right, so, bit of ash on it, but that paint was just rubbing off. It'll be old paint, but not lead paint that we used to have. So, hasn't bent them out of shape. So what we'll do is we'll just put it in a bit of vinegar for a week or so, and that will remove any kind of soot that's on there, any kind of grime that's underneath it, and that should come up nice. Right, so it's been in the vinegar. The bits have been in the vinegar, not very long, maybe 2 days or so, but it's worked. It's certainly put it in the heat, has taken the paint off. I don't know if they were slightly bent before this. I think they're slightly bent under the heat, but burning them has certainly removed the paint. And putting them in the bit of vinegar has certainly cleaned them up, so we can certainly tell that it's brass. There we go. Now, I remember years ago watching something on Rolls Royces, and the front, that silver thing at the front of the Rolls Royce was polished with something they said that was as fine as cigarette ash. So I've just got some of the ashes out of the wood that I burnt all the paint off on. Let's just see if, with a little bit of vinegar, see if we can turn that into a really kind of a polish, so like an abrasive. So I suppose it would work with sugar and would work with salt, but I think just that fine abrasive and a bit of vinegar. I was thinking about using alcohol, but some of the alcohol's got sugar in it that you buy, and I don't think that would be a good idea. But just that fine abrasive. And I didn't really know how it was. I was looking at Brasso in the supermarket. I didn't really want to spend like a £5 on a tub of Brasso, so I'm not really going to be polishing up a lot of things with Brasso to kind of warrant spending that amount of money. But would this work just as well? Just some kind of like fine abrasive. I suppose sand would work, but I think that's worked. That's certainly a lot shinier there. So, homemade brass polish made out of a bit of wood ash. So there we go. I don't know if that's interesting. If you want to polish up a bit of brass, let's do it on that side. If you want to polish up a bit of brass, a bit of ash from a fire certainly works. I don't think they used cigarette ash to polish up the front of a, I don't know what you call it, the front of a Rolls Royce. I can't imagine they went around the canteen and emptied out all the ashtrays and sieved the ash to get like a fine abrasive. They'll have bought something in. Maybe it was cigarette ash. There we go. Has that worked? A bit more. Oh, it certainly worked as that. That certainly worked. But there we go. So that works. I want to remove some paint for some brass. and stick it into the fireworks. Although the fire's probably bent it. Or was it? Oh no, it was soft. Oh, it's pretty soft anyway. We'll just bend it back into shape. There we go. That's worked, hasn't it? Seems a shame. Seems a shame to weigh him in, because that's what I was thinking about doing. So this is from the other brass experiment that I did. This is the one where we put it in Coca-Cola, and then Coca-Cola wasn't very well. It wasn't Coca-Cola. It was cheap Coke. It didn't really kind of do the job properly. But then I put it in brown sauce and some vinegar, and the vinegar worked better than the brown sauce. So this is from the vinegar. Let's polish up. As it seems like a shame. Oh, it's come out really well, isn't it? It seems a shame to weigh these bits of brass in if they're going to be pretty, but I haven't really got a use for them, and I kind of think, where would you sell them? Who would kind of want them? I don't know, but that's come up rather kind of quite well. I think that's copper. It's certainly come up shiny, hasn't it? That's made a world of difference. I've actually got some brass pins. Hang on. Yeah, so that's brass. I think that's actually copper, unless it had a brass finish to it. But that's brass because that's come out of a plug, so that looks more like copper. That certainly looks like brass there, but I don't know if the vinegar's kind of had an effect on it. But anyway, it's certainly taught me. Well, if I get intrigued about something, I want to kind of know. So, and if I do something and it's got a result, I always kind of think, and I don't film it, I always kick myself. So, is it interesting to me? Yes. Is there anything else on the planet? Probably not. But there we go. I will add, this isn't my chopping board. This is a bit of worktop that I pulled out of the skip. It's laminated wood, so it's one of those worktops that's all like bits of wood instead of one solid bit of wood. But I pulled it out of the skip, and I kind of thought what I'd do at some point is I'd cut it down into a chopping board type of shape, or just have it as a bit of a faffing around board. But anyway, there we go. So I haven't ruined my chopping board.